All right, fellas, you guys did it. From what I've seen on Instagram and Instagram comments and Twitter, I have to do it now. Anyway, things MMA fans need to stop doing, right? I'm not talking about all fans. I'm not talking about the people who watch my channel. I'm not like calling anyone out specifically. I'm just saying MMA fans is like a broad term, you know? Be rude and be like, oh, they claim to be fans, but no, they're fans, they're just weird. And they need to stop doing these weird things. Anyway, let's get into it. A Miguel Don production. You guys brought back the PowerPoints because of how furious I am. The first one I want to talk about is, obviously, I think I made a video on it a while back. Everyone knows about this. This is the common sin of MMA fans, and that is glazing. We all know what glazing is. And I want to preface this ahead of time for those who don't know what glazing is. I'm not saying you can't support your favorite fighters. Go for it. If they're your favorite fighter, support them, you know. Just be honest with yourself. What I mean by glazing is a perfect example of this. And no offense, I don't want to start a trigger war or whatever. But Khamzat Chimaev, this man has been inactive, talks a lot on Twitter, kind of annoying, which is fine. I'm not saying that like people shouldn't like him because of that. But when he's going in against Robert Whittaker, I think this weekend, people are like almost discrediting Robert Whittaker and what he's done because they like Khamzat. I'm like, sure, cool, vote for. I like Robert Whittaker. I think he's going to be Khamzat. Doesn't mean I don't think Khamzat is a threat to Whittaker or there's potential that Whittaker could lose against Khamzat. These people are like, bro, Khamzat first round, no problem. We don't care that he gassed out in the first round against a short notice Kamaru Usman. His hand was broken. Like, they just like glazing him. Like, dude, okay, like, yes, he's a good fighter, but he may not be the greatest fighter we've ever seen. He's been tested. Gilbert Burns tested him. Kamaru Usman also tested his gas tank and his wrestling. If he can't get you out of there in the first round, he might be cooked. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just those things like that. That's what I mean by glazing. And if you want a different example besides Khamzat Chimaev, this one's kind of related to Khamzat Chimaev, but it's the first one that popped to my head. Guram Kutateladze. I remember when he first had his fight. He had his first fight in the UFC. I think it was during like the COVID Apex era. But people were like, man, this guy's going to be a champion. The next big thing. He's going to be the next thing, right? Like, just out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, he had a good performance. It was a little iffy. He even admitted that he might have lost that fight. But then people were just saying, we're hyping him up to Kingdom Come. It was just hype trains, left and right, glazing, as we say. So you can see by the GIF. And then he kind of shows his actual skill level. I think he's had 3 fights so far. But he's not fighting any ranked opponents. He's getting challenged by these unranked guys just like himself. And that's okay. I'm not saying, like, he sucks or that no one should be a fan of him. I think he's a pretty decent fighter. He's just not on that level. Like people say, like Corey Anderson said, there's levels to this. There's levels to this! There's levels! And that's okay if he's not to that level. And he also takes forever to fucking fight. So I don't know why people hyped him up so hard. Maybe because of the Khamzat, because he trained with Khamzat and people were like, Khamzat the next big thing. Because Khamzat was fighting like fucking every week. And then now look what happened. So that's what I mean by glazing. On to the next one. I think there's 5 in total, fellas. And we are on to flip-flopping. Now, people may be confused. Why do you have Alex Payne? Why do you have Max Holloway over there? What I mean by flip-flopping is everyone loved Alex Payne. They still do, right? He was that guy. But I don't know if it was the title defenses or him beating everyone so easily, but when he was scheduled to fight Khalil Roundtree, everyone was going crazy. Everyone's just like, yeah, Pereira sucks. I'm like, where? I'm not saying Khalil Roundtree didn't have any fans, but where did all these fans come from? Because I remember when this fight was first announced, people were like, oh, you know, he had a banned substance. Now he gets a title shot. Oh, fuck him, right? He doesn't deserve it, which is fair. I think I also said that in one of my videos that he doesn't deserve it, but it's whatever, right? Nothing I could do. The UFC already did it. And people were like on that, like, oh, you know, he's ranked 8. I don't think he has a chance against Pereira. And then obviously he gave Pereira a really good match. But like leading up to it, like a couple weeks or maybe fight week leading up to it, everyone was just like, Khalil Roundtree's going to knock him out. Khalil has a secret sauce. I'm like, where did you guys come from? Are you guys just jumping on the bandwagon? Like, is it cool to hate Alex Pereira now? Which I thought was weird because he's a fan favorite. And there's like no reason to hate him. Like with Adesanya, I can see you being an Adesanya fan, and then as it goes on, you're like, man, okay, never mind. I don't really like Adesanya because of the way he's fighting, whatever, right? That makes sense. There was a reason to dislike Adesanya. There was a reason to hate him there. I don't know why there were so many people just started hating Pereira, like out of nowhere. And then this is also going into the flip-flopping. They jump back on the bandwagon after he won. They're like, oh man, Pereira's that guy. No one could beat him, bro. So you thought he was gonna lose. For some reason, people just started hating Pereira leading up to the Roundtree fight. He beats Roundtree, and then people are like, "Ah, Pereira's the guy." I'm like, what? I was like, is it some weird thing? Like, sure, Pereira's been dominant. I get we want to see the title move hands a lot, but I think also having a dominant champ is pretty fucking cool. And the reason why I have Max Holloway up here is the same reason as the Pereira situation. Out of nowhere, Ilia Topuria had like millions of fans. Everyone was just like, hell yeah. At UFC 300, people were memeing Ilia Topuria after the Max Holloway KO of Justin Gaethje. But everyone was like, oh, Topuria's nervous, bro. He's going to get knocked out next time he fights Max. Now that fight week is coming up, everyone's switching. Like, I get having concerns. Like, maybe Topuria will be the guy who cracks Max's chin. But now I'm like, oh, people are almost counting Max out. I'm like, Max has proved time and time. People counted him out against Gaethje. Look what Max did. People thought Arnold Allen was going to be the guy to knock out Max Holloway. And then look what happened in that fight. So I just think it's weird that all of a sudden we just want to... And Max is a fan favorite. We like Max. Max is cool. But now all of a sudden we don't think Max has what it takes. So just stop flip-flopping. Like, I'm still a Max fan. I'm also a fan of Ilia Topuria. But I've been a Max fan longer, and I like Max more than Ilia Topuria. And I'm like, okay, Max could potentially lose. It's MMA. Whatever, right? But I'm still going to ride with Max. Like, what? Max definitely has a shot. And then it also happened with Ikram Aleskarov against Robert Whittaker. This could be my last example, and we'll go into the next one. People were like, oh, yeah, Ikram's going to be the guy to beat. I don't think Whittaker can handle it. But then when Ikram lost, they're like, he didn't deserve that fight. I'm like, obviously, but it was short notice. And who cares? He was fighting like what? I don't know what Robert Whittaker's ranked right now. 3 or 2? One of those. And at the time, he was like 3 or 2. So obviously, it's a big jump competition. But shout out Ikram Aleskarov for freaking saving the card. I just think it's weird. Like, you were glazing him when going into the fight, saying that he could beat Robert Whittaker, that he's just like Hamza, whatever. And then when he gets knocked out, you guys are like, he sucks anyway. He was unranked. Yes, we know, but holy crap, don't shit on the guy. Anyway, on to the next one, third one. Everything is an excuse. I know us fans don't want fighters making excuses for loss. We want them to take it on the chin and improve themselves. The reason why I have these two fighters, these are the 2 top examples I had in my head. Benoit Saint Denis got his ass beat by Dustin Poirier. Like, severely, right? And then like a week or maybe a couple days after the fight, he said, if you're wondering why I didn't perform at my best, I had staph infection. I was taking antibiotics, right? Whatever. And people were like, don't make excuses. He never once did he use it as an excuse. Like, oh, that's why Dustin beat me. He was like, Dustin beat me, fair and square, whatever. And he was like, if you're wondering about my gas tank or what happened to me, why I didn't look like myself, this is why. He was kind of almost explaining to his fans. He wasn't saying, like, the only reason Dustin beat me was because I had staph infection, bro. If I was 100%, if I didn't have staph infection, went on antibiotics, I would have beat him, no problem. He never said that. And also, I feel like that's not even an excuse. That's literally what happened to him. He was taking antibiotics because staph infection. And then Robert Whittaker, I think it was right after the Dricus Duplessis fight. There was an interview where he was talking about how he couldn't compete with like the physicality of Dricus, and that he almost didn't like feel like himself. And a lot of fighters say that they didn't feel like themselves. Like, it's a mental battle first. And then people started shitting on him like, oh, man, I didn't think the Reaper was gonna be the type to make excuses. It's not excuses. He's explaining what happened mentally and why he kind of almost checked out of the fight. He wasn't there. He was mentally beaten. That's what it is. He couldn't handle the physicality of Dricus. The forward pressure was just too much, and he mentally checked out. And that's completely okay. I appreciate the honesty. And it helps grow. It helps fighters grow if they be honest with themselves and out loud. But people are like, so stupid. It's not an excuse. He didn't say like, man, I could have beat Dricus, but this. You know, he was like, yeah, I lost, and I couldn't handle it, which is fine. That's not an excuse. And same with the Benoit Saint Denis thing. It's not an excuse. There are actual excuses out there, like Jamal Hill, when he was like, oh, bro, I was waiting for the ref to chime in, even though he touched gloves with Pereira and threw the first punch, his punch just didn't land. That's an excuse. Like, bro, you lost because you suck. I'm not saying he sucks, but he got fucked up. He got hit. He threw the punch first, and then Pereira was just lucky enough to land first. Even though I don't think Jamal Hill would have knocked out Pereira in that exchange. But yeah, that's like an actual excuse, okay? The ones these guys make, not everything is an excuse, guys. On to the next one, second to last, I think. Crying robbery. So, as we all know, the saying is close fights aren't robberies. And I feel like this is one of them. And a lot of people out there, Mighty Mouse, I think Daniel Cormier said something as well. But a lot of people were saying that since Strickland was very one-dimensional with the boxing, and that even if Dricus didn't do damage with the grappling, that is still something to score, and he was being more dynamic with his strikes. It's really close. I agree, it's really close. But it makes sense why Dricus won. A lot of people are complaining like, oh, robbery. I get you're a Strickland fan. I get it. Don't hate DDP because the judges didn't give them a victory. They were both banged up. Dricus was swelled up. Strickland had his eyebrow busted open. It was a good fight, so don't discredit the fight because you're a fan of Strickland and you want to think it's a robbery because you can't accept that Strickland lost. Like there are like blatant robberies out there. Paddy Pimblett and I forgot what his name, something Gordon, made a video on that. And then people at the time with the Aljamain Sterling Henry Cejudo fight were saying it was a robbery, and I'm like, no, guys, it was a close fight. But when you look at it, like when you look at the criteria and break it down. Like, striking's even. You look at grappling. Strickland didn't even try to grapple against Dricus du Plessis. And then the kicks and then all that stuff. And then pushing forward. And then... Anyway, all I'm saying is that not everything's a robbery, guys. We got to chill out with the robbery. I've seen a lot of it. Actually. People were saying that with the Tatsuro Taida fight and Roy Val. I'm like, dude, chill out, okay? We're going to have 3 robberies in a week, dog? No. So just stop. Not everything's a robbery. There are blatant robberies out there. Compare those to like close fights. No. Anyway. On to the next one and the last one. This one might get me some flack, but hear me out, guys, okay? Selective steroid use. What the fuck does that mean? Well, if you're wondering what I mean by selective steroid use. Both of these gentlemen have done something similar. Obviously steroid related. Conor McGregor took steroids to recover from his broken leg. And Donald Cerrone has been open about taking steroids. I don't remember what for. Maybe like testosterone or something like that. I don't know specifically. But he's been open about it. Like, yes, once I'm clean, I would like to fight again. The reason why I put this on here is because he's thinking about returning to the fight. And it has kind of caused like a shitstorm. I'm going to exit the PowerPoint for a little bit to give you guys some proof. But right here, Daniel Cormier says, for years now, he's been openly using steroids. I'm against his return. I'm honestly against the idea that you could find a loophole, go in, use that loophole, feel better while using that loophole, come back and fight because you can pass a clean test, right? I have no problem with Donald Cerrone coming back if he is clean when he fights. And these people right here are agreeing with me. I mean, except this guy right here. But these guys are like, yeah, if he tests clean, then why does it matter? He's not actively using steroids in competition. The reason why I have Conor McGregor up there is because when it came out that Conor McGregor was using steroids to heal from his broken leg, so it was prescribed by a doctor. The doctor was like, take these steroids and you could heal faster, right? People were causing a shitstorm. I think Justin Gaethje said something like he's the dirty fighter, and even if you use steroids. I think Cub Swanson even said something. He was like, when I was in high school, I broke my leg and I never used steroids. That's completely different. He was like, I never used steroids. And then people were shitting on McGregor. I get it if you hate McGregor. I'm not defending I'm defending McGregor in this sense. I'm not saying McGregor's the perfect person. He's pretty annoying recently. I don't believe he's going to fight. But anyway, I just think it's silly when someone like Donald Cerrone is open about steroid use and he wants to come back. People are like, if he could test clean. then he's good. And then McGregor takes steroids to heal from his leg, and people are like, bro, he's a cheat, bro. Even if he tests clean, he's a cheat. I'm like, I get you hate McGregor, but let's be honest. I don't think McGregor has popped for anything in his career. That's like the least we can give him. Like, at least he hasn't done that. Sure, he may be like a terrible person, whatever, but at least he didn't do that. And also, another thing, McGregor has said most tested athlete on the UFC roster. And I saw another thing where it was like him and like Jose Aldo were for some reason the most tested. McGregor makes sense because he got really big, and then now he's getting back to like fight shape. His weight fluctuates, and he openly said, "I use steroids to recover from my injury." But he's being tested like 11 times this year, and he's been clean every test. So why are we demonizing McGregor but not Cerrone? Because Cerrone is openly using steroids as well. I understand Cerrone's a fan favorite. People love him. They will always love him. McGregor used to be a fan favorite. People are really jaded and hate him. Which is fair. Hate him all you want. But, like, let's be consistent. If you don't want McGregor to test because he uses steroids outside of competition, then you don't want Cerrone in. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, oh, I like Cerrone, so it's okay he uses steroids out of competition. That's out of competition. It's for medical reasons. But, oh, McGregor, no. No. I don't know. People are so weird with their steroid use accusations or whatever. If they like you, if you're not a shitty person, I guess. I mean, because Conor McGregor and John Jones are kind of shitty. I'm pretty sure Donald Cerrone isn't the greatest dude ever. But people like him, I guess. And that's fair. That's fine. I don't care if any of these guys fight. They use steroids out of competition. Let them fight. If they test clean, let them fight. Daniel Cormier apparently doesn't agree with it. And most of the media doesn't agree with Conor McGregor coming back because he used it. Anyway, that's the end of the video. That's the end of the slideshow. That's all I want to talk about. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Tell me if there's something else that you've noticed MMA fans doing. Maybe I'll make another video. While making this video right now, I thought of like 2 more things. But I already made my 5, so I'll make another, like a part 2 or something. Just let me know in the comments, guys. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.